Hi all, welcome in next video of Web API. So in this video we will be working on the first method implementation in Web API application. So in previous video we already discussed about how to install the required application, how to start and create a Web API solution and Web API project. So hope we already have created a sample project for the Web API. So through this video, we will be continuing implementing the action methods which we required and which we are going to um, implement in our solution. Okay. So in this video, we are going to learn about like building and running the API in a browser, means how it gets um, executed and how it's running on a browser, adding a new controller interface project and entity in a solution. Okay. And we will be also creating some dependent project new projects, and we will be adding reference in our BWP application, and we will be executing those dependencies in our solution. Okay, that we will be creating a new action method, like get some more details like user details with the proper output, like how the method is getting called from the browser and how the response is coming from the API. So from beginning to the end, we will be getting through. Okay, and the fifth one, like adding the route. So like over the action method, we will be implementing some routes configuration, the route attributes, like how the attributes be implement for the methods in a .NET Core. Okay, so we will be implementing all these things in this API video. So like see here, so like once the solution we created in last video, so if we are building and running that solution properly, so it will look like this way. Like once it's loaded on the browser, so it will look like this way, like whatever the name of the API and what are the methods implemented in that API. Okay, so like we had already taken up the solution with the pre-made some sample methods, so we are getting here one controller weather forecast, and definitely some more methods will be inside of that controller. So we also getting Swagger UI here. So if we are taking a blank solution, in that case we are not getting the Swagger UI. On that case we will need to implement Swagger UI. Okay, so like we already taken up a pre-made solution in which we already have some sample APIs. So we are getting this pre-made Swagger for our solution. So let's build that solution and see how it looks. So this is the solution we created in the last video. So here is the weather forecast, and you can see here weather forecast controller is already present here. Okay, so you can see that so what we need to do, we need to build this application first, whether it is building properly or not. Build means all the dependencies, all the implementation is in a proper way, nothing is getting failed and we are not getting any errors, so that makes sure for us like our solution is executing successfully. Okay, so like here you can see build one succeeded. Like it means simply like our solution does not have any failures or any errors. Okay, so we build up the successfully for our solution. So now we can run our solution. So here you can see we have IIS Express. We also can select some browsers default and run the application. So let's see continue with the IIS Express. Further on we will be changing the different mode for the execution and then see how it impacts the APIs. Okay, sorry, it's loading. Let's see how much time it takes. It will not take too much time. See how it looks. So yes, the same way it looks like I shown you my screenshot. So here this is the controller. You can see here some methods might be implemented here. Yeah, get method is there, get weather forecast. Okay, So one method is by default implemented in this controller, so uh, we don't need to use this method. This is actually sample method. So what we need to do, we will be continuing with our own logic, what we need to do, what we are thinking, what we supposed to do for our implementation. Okay. You can see some logics and code each already there. Okay, on the startup CH, what I was telling you, like you can see as Swagger service is already implemented here as per the requirement for our solution. So it only takes a API name and all thing. If we're taking a blank API without any sample request and response, without any controller and action method, so there will not be any implementation for the Swagger. So we will need to implement the Swagger on that case manually. Okay. Okay, so let's see what is the next topic we need to cover. So, okay, so further on we will be adding one more controller which will be implementing our logics for the CRMS API application. Okay, and inside this API application we will be implementing currently three APIs. Okay, so these are the custom APIs I have taken. Okay, so like get user details by id, like in this API what the role will this API perform, like we will be sending some id, user id, and we will be getting the user's detail on that case. Okay, the second API would be update user details. Okay, so in this case also, like we will be sending some id, and based on the id we will be identify the user, and whatever the details we want to update, we will be updating the details using this API. Delete user by id, so in this case we will also like delete the user by getting that id, and whatever the response we will be getting after the updation, so we will sending the response on that case. Okay. So first one is get user details by id, so we will be further on implementing this. So like here you can see browser, means browser could be a simple Chrome browser, it could be a Swagger implementing in a browser, or it could be a default browser, it could be a Postman. So client could be anything for consuming the APIs. Okay, because it's HTTP API, any client like mobile browser, anything which is client which is understanding the HTTPS services can like consume these APIs. Okay, so like this is our API. So inside that uh, API we will be implementing these three methods inside the user controller. Okay, so we will need to add the user controller first, and later on we will be implementing these APIs, and these API further will be communicating with the databases. Okay, database, currently we will be using a flat files like JSON and XML files. We will be saving the data inside that, and at the end of the video definitely we'll be also understanding like how to connect this API to the databases, like we will be using the Oracle database. Okay, so we will use the ADO.NET for that. Okay, so like I understood on the last video, like some people are not understanding the keywords which we are continuously using in our API development section, like what is routing, what is filtration, what is like Swagger. So for them only, like I picked up some keywords and trying to explain so that they can also be familiar with that keywords. Okay, so like controller, you, I think you understanding the controller is like a simply class. Okay, it's kind of class. If you have a basic understanding of C sharp, definitely you guys are knowing about the class, what is class, how it works. Okay, so controller is basically a class, okay, which interacts between models, views, and definitely model views and databases. Okay, so like it definitely take some data from the databases to the models and send to the views to get displayed on the UI side. But it's not always, like if we are using MVC pattern, definitely there will be a view which will be showing some information. But Here in Web API actually is not containing any view. It is a kind of service which is just collecting the data and sending the data to the client. Okay, so client could be anyone like Angular, React, and other UI applications. Okay, so they will be further implementing the view. Okay, based on the like data we are sending. So the second thing is routing. So routing is the actually process of redirecting the HTTP request to the particular action method. Okay, so like if we are calling the get user details, so our web application is responsible for sending that call to the appropriate controller and then for the appropriate action method. Okay, so like further if we implementing a user controller, and inside the user controller we will be implementing the get user details. So what would be the role of routing, and our API is to identify the controller firstly and then sending that request to the appropriate action method. Okay, the third one is like, yeah, some people is confused about what is MVC, what is view model and controller. So MVC is actually architectural pattern. Okay, so in this case, actually, basically we use all these three kind of things like model, views, and controller. So like WebAPI also comes and falls under the MVC architecture. So in this part, actually, we don't have a view, but we somehow connected to the MVC pattern and like integrate with the MVC pattern and display some logical data to the client side and UI side. That's why we also falls under the MVC pattern. Okay. So models is actually some like we can say data, means structural data. Okay, which map the data from the databases to the application level and like update the data from the application to the databases. Okay, so we will be understanding like models could be like some entities. Okay, entities which are containing some properties. Entity could be like user detail. Okay, so user detail is containing username, user ID, and user other related details. And view is, I think you already knowing about view are the some UI representation, okay, of the application. And JSON XML, so JSON XML are actually media formatters, okay, which are actually responsible for like transferring and managing the data for the application. Okay, Postman server are the clients which are actually consuming the API services, and filters are actually some attributes which are being used for the APIs to handle the some logic before and end of the application execution or end of the API execution. Okay, so which will be further implementing and understanding more about this. Okay, so like here you can see we also need to add some means we have a API, CRM API already. Okay, so actually parallelly I have created one test API. Okay, so that um, we can all so that we can create some architecture for you before going through the videos, so that I can represent you properly before going through the situation. Okay, that's why I also created a test API in which I already create some structure and show you so that you can understand better before going through the actual implementation. Okay, so like test API we have, so test API we already have this API solution, but apart from it we also should be able, we should also have some other solution. Okay, like test API business logics and entities. What are the, why we needed this solution in a separate part. So actually API are responsible for handling the routing, the HTTP calls which are coming through the API solution. Okay, so what are the advantage of like decoupling this business logic and entities from the actual solution? So the major advantage is like it makes our code concrete and lighter. Okay, like when we are not putting a lot of and tons of code inside the controller, we have created some separate business logic which will be responsible for handling the actual code. Okay, and inside the controller we will be just like connecting the call uh, from the web API routes to the actual method. Okay, so that main role of the controller would be to connect with the business logic. Okay, so that's like we will create some separate solution class library solution and add a reference to the our API solution and build them through the API. Okay, so like in this case our API could be a more lighter and faster and robust for our application because it's separating out the heavy and logical code from the APIs. Okay, so we will be doing it further. So let's start doing. Okay, so firstly we need to add a user controller. So I hope you already have this solution ready. So let's start with this is the controller for us. So we don't need to worry about this. So firstly just add one controller. So how click on the right, add new controller. Okay, so like we are using API, so we will be using the API controller. So we take API controller this read and write actions. Okay, click on add. Okay, API controller read and write actions. So note one thing, like when we are going to add any controller, so it will always keep a controller keyword with it. Okay, so that it can identify, no, it is not a simple class, it's a controller class. So we need to add a user controller.cs. Okay, you can see here user controller is added, and we can see here some class is created user controller.cs. Okay, so this is the one solution only. This is the solution CRMS API, and this is our project. So currently you can see only single project is here. So we also need to add one business logic project and one is entity project. So in this video we will not continue and implementing those projects here, but we can add the projects. Okay, so how to add I show you. Later on we will be show you how to add the references of these newly added projects and what are the what are the advantages of creating this project separated out. Okay, and if we are not adding reference, so what are the like disadvantages and what are the problems we are getting for the solution. Okay, so like let's right click and add new project, add new project. Okay, so here you can see, so we need to add a console app. So what can be the name of this project? CRMS dot BL stands for business logic. Okay, so this could be the project name. Create. You can see here one more project is created. It's a class library project. It is not containing anything. It's a simple one program class is here. If you see here, just hello world is written. Okay, the same way we can also add one more project, new project for the entity. Okay, let's go on CRMS dot entity entity. Okay, it's the entity containing on the same solution folder. So here you can see we have created CRMS CRMS.api should be here, but it's okay. CRMS API, CRMS.entity, CRMS.pl. Okay. So I'm actually not developing. Just actually we can do these all these activity in just on a single API project, but I want to give you the actual representation of the project. Okay, so creating that's why I'm creating the actual business logic layer and entity layer. okay, so that I can also show you the added advantage of this. Okay, so what entity is containing? So basically entity is containing request and response classes. Okay, I'm creating a new folder for the request. Okay, so it will contain a request class, and one more folder will be there which will be containing some response classes. Response. So what is request and response? So request class is basically the format of the data which will be coming to the web API from the client. Okay, like if it is requiring some ID and some like user ID or user details, so that data will be coming as a request. And whenever we have processed the data, we have identified the like solution, we have executed the solution and identified the response. So on that case, like response class will be responsible to create a response which we need to send to the client. Okay, so request is coming and response is going from the API. Okay, so these are responsible for that. And inside the business logic, we will be having a major thing which is called the interface. So add new item. So we have an interface here. You can see. So we need to add the interface. So how can we use I? I is always required. Okay, if you I user details, I user details interface. Okay, I is represents the interface. Okay, so what happens here, I user interface is created, but I did not created a folder. Actually, it's not looks good. It's okay, it will not create any issue if you putting interface here, but it's well if you are like separating out these things to the folder. Okay, it will give you a better understanding, better architecture for your project. Okay, like you can see here now the I interface. So tomorrow we will be having some other interfaces, so we can put here, okay, inside the interface folder. Okay, so what we need to do next, we have an interface, so let's mark it public interface. Okay, public means uh, it's not limited to the any class. So if you have a understanding about the fundamentals of the C#, so you will be definitely knowing about what is public interface. Okay, so what next we need to do, like we need to create a interface. So public, what could be the name of our uh, user response? No, it's not coming. You can see here user response which will be going out from the API is type of user response which will be put here. Okay, but response folder but not yet created. So let first create the user response class. So add new class type, but what would be the user response? User response class. Okay, so add the class here. So it also a public class. I'm making all this public because we are going to consume these things in our next, like in API. Okay, so if anything is making private, so that will only be limited to the class only and project only. So that's why I'm making all this. Okay, so like we need to add some properties here. I shown you already. So like first property would be user ID. Okay, so user id is the first property. So then the same way we will be implementing the other properties. So instead of making this one by one, and just okay, so we have some test project. I already created a entity here, so I can just copy from there so that it can reduce our time of implementation. Okay, so here this way you need to create all the properties. Okay. So like, if you have a basic understanding, so definitely you guys are knowing what is integer. Integer means it's a number. It's not, it could not be a some abcd, it could be a 1 2 3 4. Okay, so first name, last name, string, mobile is also integer, email, string, package id is integer. Okay, so our response class is created. So whenever the we created the user, so at on a response we will be getting this kind of details. Okay, so response is ready. So now we will need to implement a controller class. The user controller is there. So like here you can see we already have created an interface here. Response. So inside the response, if you see, it's limited to the response class. So we need to remove it so that it can be available crms.entity label. Okay, it's actually a namespace. Okay, which defines your scope. Okay. So the same way we also do the same activity for the interfaces. Oh, it's already at the business logic layer, so that's fine. Okay, so what we need to do next? Um, like we need to use this response class in our interface. Okay, interface will reflect you the method. Okay, what could be the like output of the method? So if we wanted to get it here like user response, but it is not coming. Okay, so what could we need to do? Like we need to add the reference of this bl, no, this entity, because the user response is inside this crms.entity. So we will need to add the reference of this entity project to the bl project. So let's do it so that it can be available here for the implementation. Okay, so add no. So how to add the reference? I told you yesterday, like we can add the reference inside the dependencies. So let's right click on the dependency, add project reference. So we need to add a reference of crms entity inside the bl. Okay, so whatever the like solution we created inside the whatever the projects we created inside the solution, all the means projects are available here inside the solution section. Okay, in the project section. So we can add here. So you can see here project dependency is at crms.entity. Okay, so we can add the reference here using crms dot entity. Okay, so afterwards you can see here like that is available user response what we are looking for. Public user response. What could be the name of our method? Get user details by id. Okay, and what we are taking as an input? Integer. What is an integer? id. Okay, so this will be the structure of our method which we will be implementing in our classes. Okay, so the interface is created, response class is created. Okay, so now what we need to do? We need to add the action method in controller. So controller is also created. Where is controller? User controller is here. Okay, crms api.controllers. So what we need to do first? This is the controller, this is the user controller. Firstly we need to create the um, object of the interface. So here the type of this is interface. So what is the interface? crms.bl. Okay, so currently you can see if we write here uh, I user, you can see nothing is coming because in this API project we did not added any dependency yet. Okay, so we need to add the dependency crms.bl and entity both. Okay, because we are going to we going to use both of the things. Okay, so now if you see, okay, we will also need to reference here using crms crms. Okay, crms dot bl. Okay, this is the first one, and the second one is using crms dot entity. Both are the same. So you can also see here some are in highlighted and some are in blur, like not highlighted. So the basically it means these references are being used in the class and these are not being used. Okay, so currently I'm not using, but see like we need to use the crms bl dot interface. Okay, interface things we need to implement here. So you can see like once we implement it, it will also get appear on a board. Okay, so let's see, it should available now. I user details, you can see here it is available. Okay, so I user details, what can we give the name? It's a property, so make sure property is in Pascal case. Okay, so user details casing is also important when we were doing the in actual development area. So casing is also taken care by the teams, like whenever they are like reviewing or doing any kind of observation, they will always pointed you out if you're not consuming the using the proper casing. Okay, so like here you can see our API slash get not, it is actually commented, so it does not matter, you can remove it. It's for the understanding if you wanted to do. So these are the attribute http get, whatever the like keywords we are using above the action methods, above the controller, are the attributes and also called the filters. Okay, so that we need to take care. So public, what are the return type of our class is response. No, user response, user response. What is the name of method? Get user details by id. Okay, what is the input? Integer type id. The same thing we put there in interface. Okay, this should match with in public response id. So basically public is the scope, user response is the type which will be returning after the execution of the method, and this is the name, this is the input parameter of the action method. Okay, so where we were, where is the control, this is there. Okay, so now this you can see it is showing on a red, so red means it is on error. Okay, so when we will be giving the build, so it will not be like it will not be completed successfully, it will give some error. It's already telling like represented text is cannot implicitly converts string to the response, because we telling this method like this is the response, we will be getting the response in this format, but here in return you can see we are returning the string. So that's why it's giving an error, like it's saying, oh, you asking for the user response but you are returning a string, so please make sure both are matching or properly type casting or converting. Okay, so that we need to take care. So what can we do? We can also put here a new user response type, user response. Okay, okay, so user response, we can this time like give a hard coded values. Afterwards we will be understand, like you can see become also personal. Okay, so if anything we are putting here and we are passing out, so whatever the data we created here, structural data we created here in the entity. Okay, this, this user response is coming from this entity class here, user response. This and that one is same. This, the data we created here is structural data, and the response we are returning is the same. Okay, so whatever the data we put here, it will always be in the format of the data we created in response class, this format. Okay, so let's build and run if it is building properly, because we made a lot of changes. Hope it is building properly. Two things you need to notice here. Okay, three. Earlier you were getting a one project. Okay, but now you are getting a three. Okay, because in this solution we have a three different projects. Three projects are coming here. Okay, so if we are running this solution, let's see what's coming out. Okay, so you can see here, earlier we have only one controller. Okay, weather forecast controller was there, but currently we have a user controller as well. Okay, so inside the user controller we have a like five classes. So all these classes are pre-made, means whenever we created already read and write classes, so these classes come by default. But you cannot see the action method which we created, get user details by id. Here you are getting just a default one. Okay, but you see here its response, the its return type is our user response. See, package id, email id, country, first name, user id, whatever we are expected to get for this method, for our method. So it looks like, because we did not make any changes for any other method, we only made the changes for this method. Okay, so it looks like, means it is telling once this method executed successfully you will get the response in this format. Okay, means this method is appearing here. Okay, so this method is our method, but it's not giving the name for get user details by id. Okay, I tell you why it is not giving. Okay, we can also run it. If you want to know, we can run it. We will not get any response for sure. It's executed successfully, I think. No, no, okay, so we're putting one here and executing. See, everything is coming null in the same format. Why it is coming null, because we are passing user response as a null. We did not passing any data here, so it will by default getting a null. So first problem is like the response is not, method name is not proper. So how can we sort it out? Like we will need to put here a route. So instead of putting here in controller in, so it's a square tag. So you can see here, like whatever the controller name is now, it will automatically take the name, like you can see here. So to, like it, if it is a weather forecast, so it will take API slash weather forecast. So either we can put here in hard coded like API slash user, or we can put the square in controller, so it will take the actual name. So what are the mistake here? We did not put the route name, route of for the action method. No, 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 this is not actually. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to put the name. So API slash user slash get user ID. Okay, control P. get user ID, and sometimes if it is passing in string, so we can also pass here as parameter. Okay, so we put the route, so hopefully this time we will be getting the actual name of the action method inside the controller. Let's see. Yes, here you can see API slash user slash get user details by ID, and slash in curly braces this ID is then input parameter. Okay, so it is working now for the get method, but response is coming blank. So what can we do for the response? For the time being, we can give the response in a hard-coded format. Okay, so that we can be assured like the response is coming properly. But later on, what we do? We will be giving the actual ID, and based on that ID, we will be getting the actual response from the API. Okay, this time we can, so like I told you, whatever the data we are passing to this response, it would be a concrete data. Whatever the properties we created inside, we can only pass the data on the format of those properties. Okay, so like ID is there, so you can see here user ID. So user ID you can give like it's one. Okay, first name you can give like, you can give any, maybe you can give my name, it is also good. Okay, you can give last name could be, what is the next, mobile. Mobile is integer, so you need to pass integer. Okay, and next is email. Email you it's a string, so you need to pass in string format. Okay, and the next one is country. Okay, so country, you can pass here country. It's also a string, so you can pass India. And the package ID, the last one is package. I created this one just for making the different customer for the different resources, for that we will be communicating on the basis of different. Okay, so now we have attached a hard-coded response with this. Okay, so after execution of this method, we will be getting a hard-coded response. Okay, so currently we are like using a browser. Actually, the Swagger is already implemented in this API, so we are getting a Swagger UI, so that's actually good. We do not need to put extra efforts for that. So here our ID, so our API is here. Tried it out, put ID one, and see the our country I did not hit. See here blank. Okay, and 200 code is like success. So once we are executing this API, see response is coming. ID, name, Salma, and everything. So whoever would be an end user, like you can see this dodge, this can also be run in here. Like you don't need to use, see, you don't need a Swagger or any kind of things. You can directly hit this API in browser. Okay, it is not requiring any other thing. Okay, so browser actually understanding the HTTP request and response, so it can easily understand the request and response as well, and the proper communication. It does not require any, but Swagger is providing a good UI, so that's why we are using sometimes Swagger, sometimes Postman, and other clients. Okay, we can also understand like some details. If in case of error, we can get the trace here, so that would also be helpful for us. So this way it is working. So We created one class today, one action method, one controller, one action method, one interface, one properties. We also used attribute. Okay, we also used the filters. We also added some dependencies of the external project inside the API. Okay, so that's few things, many things we learned today. So I think you can go through those activities again and take a proper understanding of these things. Okay, if you wanted to get more details about these things what I shown you here, so you can search in Google. Definitely you will be getting some more theoretical details. Okay, but if still you having some doubts or questions or issue, so you can tell me, put in a comment or send me email. I will definitely guys let you give you some answers on that. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and definitely we will be meeting on the next video. So before that, please do the practice of this so that you can also have a better understanding. Otherwise it will definitely going to be a big mess up if you're not doing the practice. So before going to the next video, please make sure you have understood all the things properly and did the proper practice. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great